All right, testing my mic here. All right, perfect. So let's begin. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my stream. Today we'll be continuing with the Node.js course that we were doing, and yeah, I think it's the village stream number 5. We're making good progress, so let's just roll with it, and yeah, continue. So let me just pull up the course here. And last time, I believe we left off at the 2 hour mark. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we left off at around here. So we'll just start from here. Yeah, VS Code open. So here we
We don't
go.
have to worry about allocating and deallocating memory for our objects. In JavaScript, we have a built-in class called math. This has static helper methods to help us do mathematical calculations and is often utilized in programming interviews. It has many methods, so don't worry about memorizing it. Rather, refer to developer.mozilla.org. Search for math and click the first recommendation. Then you can read the documentation and view the various methods that it contains. Here I will show you the most commonly used ones. I'll open up the panel and I'll type in node. So when working with decimal numbers, I can use math.round and pass in 3.14. And this will round the number. Likewise, if I did math.round, say 3.6, it'll round up. Now, if I always want to round down, I can use math.floor.14. Commonly used ones. I'll open up the panel and I'll type in node. So when working with decimal numbers, I can use math.round and pass in 3.14. And this will round the number. Likewise, if I did math.round, say 3.6, it'll round up. Now, if I always want to round down, I can use math.floor. Let's say 4.6. If I always want to round up, I can do math.ceiling. Say I do 4.2. Now, if you find the maximum number, I can do math.max, and I can pass in 1 and 2. I can also add in more arguments. Let's say if I 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it accepts more than just 2 arguments. Likewise, I have math.min. So say if I do 1, 2, and 3. We can also raise to the power of, so I can say math.pow. The base number, say if I make 2, and let's just say if it's cubed, then I can perform that. I can do math.square root, say 25. So I'll clear this out. Now, one of the most useful built-in methods is the random method. We can do math.random. So this will return a number between 0 and 1 as a decimal value. Now, if I want to return a random number between a range, then I'll need to perform it differently. Let's say if I do let.min, I'll send that to 1, and I say let max equal to 10. Now, if I want to return a random number, I can say const random number, then I'll send that to math.random times the max minus the min plus the minimum. So this will return a number between.
Oh, what? Okay. Is my stream still there? Still live or? Hello? Hello? Alright, for some reason, it switched my output, audio. Alright, hello. Huh, this is weird. Okay, I don't. Okay, let's try to fix this. Um, hmm. It's not detecting my headphone for some reason. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me try to fix this. Oh, never mind. There we go. Okay, I have no clue what just happened. My first of all, my monitor just I don't know. All of a sudden, it just went out and then came back in, and then I lost connection to my headphones for some reason. Anyway, I'm back now. Should I? Hmm. I wonder if it's something related to do with the UPS. I had unplugged it just a while ago. Maybe is the connection? All right. Yeah, the connection looks all right to me. Anyway, that was some live debugging of sorts, wasn't it? Anyhow, continue. So what was it? Yeah, I was about to say that it's weird that um Node does this. Other languages may also do this. I'm not aware. Like they could have just given a function for this, right? Actually, let's just search. Does Node have a function for returning a random number rather than us needing to do that. Um, I guess not. Oh no! Wait a second. What's this? No, it's a function, a custom function. I know.
between 1 and 10. And if I want it to always be an integer value, then I would do math.round and wrap it in parentheses. So console logs value, console.log, random num.
I guess math, like I don't need to import math as such. It's there by
And just generate a
default.
random number between that range. So I just run node objects.js. So I run it again. So don't worry about memorizing these. This will come second nature over time. I just wanted to introduce you to the built-in methods that you have access to. What are some of the methods that the built-in math class has?
Round,
Some of the methods
random. Oh, okay.
we covered include math.floor,
Given
math.max,
analysis.
math.min, square root, math.power, and math.random. How would you generate a random number between 1 and 100? This line of code represents the formula in order to create a random number between a minimum number and a maximum number.
And this makes sense, right? Because this returns 0 and 1. So, and this can be a 99, right? This would turn out to be 99. So 99 plus 1 is 1 and 0 plus 1 is 1. So it returns a number between 1 and 100.
So in JavaScript, we have two kinds of strings. One way is the string literal through the use of single quotes, double quotes, or backticks. So for example, if I just do const name is assigned to my name, a console log, I'll say type of name. When I output it, I'll say that it is a string data type. Now I can also make a string using the string object. So I can say const, I'll call it another name.
Why is name? I want to say stricken out, but I think the correct word to use is just struck out or something. Anyhow, let's just type that in real quick. Typo name. Name is, oh, okay. So name actually means something in JS. Like, yeah, maybe some sort of inbuilt
Assigned
method or
to the new
something.
keyword, which calls the constructor of string. I can pass an argument here. I'll just say Joe as the name.
Let's just search that real quick. What is name in JS? Hmm. I mean, can you I didn't close my YouTube analytics, but okay, there we go. So what was I about to search? Yeah, name. Const name void. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's. I will have to check that later. Maybe it's one of those things like window, which is just available in the browser version. So
Now if I console log the type, I'll see that it is an object. Another name. I'll put it, and we see this value is an object data type. So I'll comment this out. So with this variable that is assigned to this string literal, we can access the methods of strings using dot notation or bracket notation. And the JavaScript engine will internally wrap that string literal with the string object. So there are built-in methods that allow us to operate and manipulate strings. In this video, I'll show you some of the most commonly used ones. I'll make a new string, I'll say let sentence, and I'll send that to a new sentence. And I'll do it. Comment this out. Now I can check does include new, for example. I can say sentence, and one built-in method is includes. Passing the string new. And so what this does is this checks the string and sees if the string passed to it as an argument is found. If it is, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. So here, I'll just log it out. Does include new. Here we see that it does include. We can access characters by index value, where the first character of the string is at the index of 0, the second character is at the index of 1, third character is at the index of 2, and so on. So if I do console.log, no sentence at the index of 3. So if we count this, we see the first character at the 0 position is A, then empty string, then N is at the second index, and then E is at the third index. Because we start counting from 0. So we're expecting E, we'll show it in the panel, and we get the character that we expected. Comment this out. I can say const starts with A, and I'll say sentence. So the method is starts with, I'll pass in the string of A, and this will return true if the sentence begins with this character, and false otherwise. Console.log, starts with A, and we see that it's true. Now I'll just copy this, paste it here, and I'll rename it. I'll say ends with A, and change the method to be ends with. Change that here, comment it out. So we expect this to be false. I'll run it, and we get false as expected. Now another useful method is the replace method. So if I do let updated sentence.replace, first argument, I can specify the string that I want to replace in the current existing string I'm operating on. So let's say new, and I want to replace that to be short. So this will return a new sentence, and it will not mutate this existing sentence.
Doesn't JS support just using n for strings? So something like, and let's say my name, which is Jahan. Huh. I guess that's why they have a in method exclusively. Yeah.
Sentence. Let's output it. Console.log, update sentence. Output it. So we're expecting the new string to be a short sentence. And we get that updated string. Also, one of the useful methods is the trim method. So if you're expecting user input from input field, it is useful to use the trim method in case the user has spaces in the beginning or at the end of their input. So let's update this as if we had space in the beginning and space at the end. And I'll call this trimmed sentence. So I can say sentence.trim, and this will remove the spaces from both the beginning and the end. Here, just console log it. And we get that string with the spaces trimmed at the end. Now, one of the methods is trim left, which will remove the spaces from the beginning of the string. We have trim right, which will remove spaces at the end. One useful method that is commonly used in programming interviews is the split method. With the split method, we can specify a delimiter, and what JavaScript will do is that it will create an array splitting the sentence. So I can say const, and I'll say words in sentence, and I will say sentence.split, and the delimiter I'll say is empty string. So this will split the string whenever it encounters an empty space.
Let's just use these or yeah, write them down in your node file real quick. This will call them string. Call it strings.js. So as used, include starts with, ends with, replace, trim, and split. Not named it. Okay, let's do what else was there? There was trim. You know what? We'll just add a couple of spaces. See what I'm doing here in a second. What else? Starts with and ends with, and then there's replace. Let's replace all the R with is it, so it will become a bus gus if that's a thing. Okay, oh, yep, let's go back. right? So let's see. Um, oh, actually, let's just also just copy this real quick. And I keep on pressing the Windows key and V rather than, rather than pressing Control C. Yes, that's what happens when you use both Mac, Linux, and Windows at the same time. With that, with that, and that. Let's have that and that, and okay, let's run it again. And 1 second. Oh, all right. So see here. Includes yep, true trim burger split. Oh yeah, because it returns this part of it and then the part afterward. Then replace. Oh, why do we have? Oh, okay, I see. And that becomes burger and starts with false ends with. I mean, okay, you know what? We'll remove this part of it. All right, now that's true and that's false, as it should be.
Those elements will be placed in an array. Here I'll remove these spaces in the beginning and the end. So here's console.log, words and sentence. Then I'll output it. So it is split based on the white space. So I'll comment this out. Two of the help methods are two lowercase and two uppercase. So let's say the user enters in an email. They enter it with mixed casing, so some letters capitalized, some are lowercase. Well, when we save that email in the database, we likely want to make that all lowercase or all uppercase. So the next time when the user logs in, they're not restricted from logging in based on case sensitivity. So I can say let
Oh
all
no, we
lowercase email,
already did
assign this to
split,
email,
right?
and I'll say two lowercase. Let's console log that. Lowercase email, node objects.js. Then we get that same string, but in all lowercase. Likewise, I can say let uppercase email, assign it to email.to uppercase, output it, uppercase email. Now we get an all uppercase. There are many more methods available for strings, and it's best to consult developer.mozilla.org to view the documentation for strings. Name some of the methods in the string class. Some of the methods in the string class that we covered in this lesson is replace, trim left, trim right, includes, index of, split, two lowercase, and two uppercase. In previous lessons, when working with string, we have used either single quotes or double quotes. We have another way to create a string literal, and that is with backticks. So the backtick key on your keyboard is usually above the caps lock key on the upper left side. The benefit of using backtick characters, which we call a template literal, is that it allows us to use string interpolation rather than having to use string concatenation. So for example, if I say let first name and assign that to my name, and then I say let last name and assign that to my last name. Now if I want to combine them, I can say I'll say full name. I don't have to do first name and use the plus sign operator, add last name, and this performs string concatenation, creating a new string and storing it in this variable. So
This is basically the F
full name,
strings,
and when I run it,
so
we see the strings have been combined, but there is no space between them.
of
So
node.
I'll add an empty space and then another plus sign. Now if I run it again, I see it properly displays with the space in between. So rather than having to include this, which is a bit hard to read, I have another syntax that I could use. So I'll comment this out. With template literals, it provides a cleaner syntax to accomplish the same thing. I can say let full name, then I'll use backticks to create that string literal, otherwise known as a template literal. Then I can use a syntax, a dollar sign, and then curly braces. This acts as a placeholder, and within the curly braces, I can specify an expression. In this case, I'll use the variable first name, then a space, then dollar sign, and then last name. Now I'll output it, and I get the same result. What are template literals? Template literals provide an alternative syntax to the traditional strings by using backticks. The benefit is it enables us to use string interpolation, meaning that with the dollar sign and then curly braces, we can utilize that as a placeholder and specify expressions within it, rather than having to use concatenation with the plus operator. In JavaScript, we have a built-in date object. It stores the date and time. It also provides methods for
And we need to use
in JavaScript, we use date
backticks.
object to store creation and modification times for a resource. The date object can be initialized in multiple ways. I'll open up the panel, type in node, and then enter. Now we can initialize a date object by going new, then date. And if I pass in no arguments, then this will create a date object based on the current date and time. Do now and enter. This shows my current date and time. And I can also create a date object by passing in a number, which will represent the number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. So for example, I can say let January 1st of 1970 equal to new date. And if I pass in 0, representing 0 seconds since January 1st, 1970, then when I log that out, then it displays the date and time. Likewise, if I were to do let December 31st, 1969 as a date object by going new creation times for a resource. The date object can be initialized in multiple ways. I'll open up the panel, type in node, and then enter. Now we can initialize a date object by going new, then date. And if I pass in no arguments, then this will create a date object based on the current date and time. Do now and enter. This shows my current date and time. And I can also create a date object by passing in a number, which will represent the number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. So for example, I can say let January 1st of 1970 equal to new date. And if I pass in 0, representing 0 seconds since January 1st, 1970, then when I log that out, then it displays the date and time. Likewise, if I were to do let December 31st, 1969 sign to new date. And if I do negative 24 times 3600 times 1000, then this would be the previous day. You could also pass in a date string to construct a date object, I just do. And if I do negative 20, then it displays the date and time. Likewise, equal to new date. And if I pass in 0, representing 0 seconds since January 1st, 1970, then when I log that out, then it displays the date and time. Likewise, if I were to do December 31st.
This has a name, right? Mm, the time passed. I think it's called the epoch type stamp, I believe. Epoch. Why was that date chosen? I wonder. Let's just go to Wikipedia, I guess. Commuting. Is a fixed date. Oh, so epoch is just a fixed date and time, and you I see. So this is a definition of an epoch, right? Like I can set my own epoch to be like today and call it something. But officially, this Unix epoch is used and Unix epoch is set to Jan 1970, right? Jan 1, 1970. I wonder why that was chosen. Oh, interesting. Windows 11 measure time. Is this the reason why my time is messed up? Because then maybe I did look it up. It's something related to having both Linux and Windows in the same system. So there's a way around it. I just haven't got to it yet. But yeah, huh. That's a day to look out for, I guess. Ooh, okay. There are other epoch dates. 0 January. Okay, all right. I guess I mean there might have been some. Let's just look at the. At least this is the most common epoch that I know of. January 970, which is the Unix epoch, right? Yeah. Okay. This is where the confusion comes for epoch and epoch time, I guess. Yeah. That is it's interesting. I guess okay, let's just search for it. Why was Jan 1970 chosen for um Unix epoch? Okay, I guess some engineers chose it and they just stuck with it. Like and other engineers just decided to be like, okay, if it's not broken, um let's not try to fix it. Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Like you see a piece of code and like you don't want to mess with it. Just in case that it doesn't break anything important. I gotta just go back.
1969, signed to, new date. And if I do negative 24 times 3600 times 1000, then this will be the previous day.
But I have to say that was a bit of good history, I guess.
So pass in a date string to construct a date object. I just do const, we'll say date 1, signed to new date. If I pass in December 25th, 2024, and specify a time, I can log that out. Now I can do January 1st of this year. And I can say new date, passing in the year, then the month, which is indexed at 0. So 0 would represent January, then the 1st. I log that out. So check out developer.mozilla.org to read the documentation on the date object. There are many methods built in that can't be feasibly covered in one video. Now to cover some of the most common methods, I'll clear this out. Now if I have now assigned to a new date, one method we could use is now.getFullYear. We have now.getMonth, represented as a number, and now.getDate. We also have now.getTimeZone offset. So this will return the difference between coordinated universal time and your local time zone in minutes. This video was just meant to provide an introduction to the date object .getTimeZone offset. So this will return the difference between coordinated universal time and your local time zone in minutes. This video was just meant to provide an introduction to the date object and to give you an idea of what this object can do. And your local time zone.
Alright, let's just
one method we can use is now.getFullYear. We have now.getMonth, represented as a number, and now.getDate. We also have now.getTimeZone offset. So this will return the difference between
okay, maybe it's day or oh no, it's get okay. Let's just run the first and get full. Yeah, there are a lot of methods here. Then get time zone offset. So I guess this would give me the difference between UTC and which I believe is 5 hours. Let's just save time now. Oh, not that. Okay. Okay, anyway, UTC time now. Actually, 5.5 hours, right? Plus 5:30. Yeah. Okay. So that should be giving me. Let me see if I can do quick math. 5 hours is 3:30 minutes, I believe. Okay, let's see. Whether that works. So. And let's just console.log now. 2024 month is okay, it's December, so I believe this follows zero indexing. Yep. But interesting to note that I guess get date following zero indexing would mess everything up. So yeah. Minus 3:30. Well, I was right about 5.5 hours, but 5 minus. Oh, because yeah, it becomes negative, doesn't it? It's between UTC and local time zone. So the time zone difference between me and Steven would come out to be I am 5.5 hours behind UTC, whereas he is uh 7 hours, right? 7 into 6 is 42. So 7 hours past UTC, not past, like forward to UTC. Okay, so the difference between me and him would be what? I don't know why I love to complicate things. Okay. Let's just check that out real quick. I just wanna my whiteboard. Just give me something I can write down real quick. So if this is the line over here, and this is UTC, right? And I'm gonna measure this in hours. Okay, I can't really type well with the mouse, so please forgive me. So I'm ahead of UTC, right? Technically, so I am around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 here. So I'm 5.5 hours ahead, and Steven is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours behind. Meaning to say, he's 11.5 hours behind me, right? Yeah. Meaning if the time is uh what's the IST time now? The time is I'm just gonna consider okay, it's 6:53, meaning he's 11.5, right? So 6, 5, 6. So subtract 6 hours, you're at 12, subtract 5, subtract half, 7:23 a.m.
Between coordinated universal time and your local time zone in minutes. This video is
I don't know why I spent so much time for that. But yeah. Welcome to my stream. This is me.
meant to provide an introduction to the object and to give you an idea of what this object can do. So in this section, we cover
Alright.
factory functions using camel case notation to create a new function. We cover constructor functions, which uses Pascal notation, and we can instantiate objects using the new keyword with these constructor functions. Constructor functions utilize the keyword this, which refers to this current object, and it implicitly returns a new object. We covered the dynamic nature of JavaScript objects and how we can add properties or delete properties on the fly. We covered that functions are objects in JavaScript and they have properties. Note that primitive value types are passed by copy and object types are passed by reference. You can clone an object with object.assign or use the more modern syntax, which is the spread operator, represented by 3 dots. We went over template literals and how we can use string interpolation, and we briefly covered methods built into the string class and date class. So great job completing this section. We covered a lot of material, and I will see you in the next one. Arrays are a commonly used data structure, which provides a collection of elements.
Didn't we already I guess we did some things for an array, yeah.
In other words,
Maybe this is a
JavaScript,
continuation
now,
part
this
or
element can be of
something.
any data type. However, in real applications, all the elements of an array are usually of the same data type. There are many built-in methods for arrays, which enable you to modify, filter data, and retrieve data using clean and modern syntax. In this section, we'll dive into some of the most commonly used methods. What is an array? An array is a commonly used data structure in JavaScript that stores a list of data. So one of the most common operations when dealing with arrays is adding elements. So I'll rename my file to be arrays.js. Then I'll declare an array. I'll say const, call it numbers, square brackets, and I'll say 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So since we have used the const keyword, we can't reassign this array to any other value. So the numbers variable references the array in memory, and an array is an object, meaning it contains key value pairs, in this case mapping an index value, which starts at 0, going from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that maps and corresponds to this element value. So the const keyword means we can't reassign it, but we can modify the array. So for adding elements to this array, there are 3 scenarios, or 3 ways that we can add an element to it. We can add to the end, we can add to the beginning, and we can add to the middle. So to add a value to the end, you would use the push method. So I can say numbers, dot push, and I'll pass in the value 7, and let's console log it. Then I'll say node arrays.js.
See if I can code along. Yeah, that would be, I believe, faster. We already have an arrays.js, so let's use that. Zoom out a bit. Oops.
And here we see the array outputted, and the element that I pushed was added to the end of the array. So the push method can accept multiple arguments, so we can add multiple values at once in one go. So let's say I want to add 7, 8, and 9. Let's save it, and we'll log that out. And here we see it has added all these values to the end. Let's comment this out. We can also add a value to the front of the array.
Huh. So okay, that's interesting. So the push number also, okay, yeah. It also works kind of like an extend method. Oh no, maybe it doesn't, because no, it won't work as an extend method, right? Because if I pass an array inside, then it will just send that array rather than having each item in the array go inside. Nothing a for loop can't fix, but yeah. Push.
Eight, and 9. Let's save it, and we'll log that out. And here we see it has added all these values to the end. Let's comment this out. We can also add a value to the front of the array, and we would use the method unshift. So I'll say numbers.unshift.
Hmm. That's yeah, that's a pretty good function. Do we have unshift and all right. I guess we can do this on Python. So
And I will say 25. So let's copy this console log, and I'll paste it here once again in the console. And we see the value 25 has been added in the beginning of the array. We can also do multiple values at once. Let's say 25 and 24. And both those values have been added to the beginning of our array. Comment it out again. Next, we want to consider adding elements to the middle of an array. And to do that, you would use the splice method. So the splice method for adding elements, we use 3 arguments. We can say numbers.splice. For the first argument, you would specify the index position where you want to start from. In this case, I'll say from the first index position. This is the index position just after the value 5. For the second argument, you would specify a number which indicates the number of elements that you want to delete. Since I don't want to delete elements in this example, I will use the value 0. Now for the third argument is where you would specify what data you want to add. And you can add more than one value. In this case, I'll say I want to add the values 25 and 24. And then I'll console log it, opening up the panel. I go up and run it. Here I see the values 25 and 24 have been added, starting from the first deleting elements in this example, I will use the value 0. Now for the index position, just after the value, we can say numbers.splice. For the first argument, you would specify the index position where you want to start from. In this case, I'll say from the first index position. This is the index position just after the value 5. For the second argument, you would specify a number which indicates the number of elements that you want to delete. Since I don't want to delete elements in this example, I will use the value 0. Now for the third argument is where you would specify what data you want to add. And you can add more than one value. In this case, I'll say I want to add the values 25 and 24. And then I'll console log it, opening up the panel. I go up and run it. Here I see the values 25 and 24 have been added, starting from the first index position of the array.
ooh, all right. So unshift is basically splice, but the index is set to 0, and obviously you don't delete anything. What happens if you provide delete values? What I want to know. So let's run this real quick. So this is our numbers array. We push 7, 8, 9, and we get this. We add 25 and 24 to the beginning using unshift, and we get this. We need to use splice here. Copy that over. So splice. Oh, I see. So from the first index, it inserts 25 and 24. And if I, just to make things clear, I'm going to make this 23 and 22. Yep. And if I gave 1, would it delete 24 here? It does. If I give 2, it would delete 24 and 5. Hey, there we go. Sorry, I meant 24 and 5. But yeah.
How would you add an element to the beginning of an array?
Use unshift.
You would use the method unshift to add to the beginning of an array. How would you add to the middle of an array?
Use splice and some logic, I guess.
You would use the splice method. How would you add an element to the end of an array?
Yeah, use
You would use the push
push.
method. Arrays can store both primitive data types or reference data types, meaning objects. There are 3 main methods that we can use to check if an array contains a primitive value, and that is .index of, .last index of, and .includes. Let's go over an example of each. Let's say if we initialize. the array numbers is assigned to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, if we want to find the index of the value of 3, I can say const index of 3 and assign that to numbers.index of, and then the value I want to search for. So this will return the index that it's found at, starting from left to right. Now, if this value that I pass as argument is not found in the array, then it will return the value -1. So I can output that. I'm expecting the value of 2, so I can say console.log of index of 3. Now if I output that in the console, and here I see the value of 2 indicating the index that's found at. Now typically I wouldn't just output the index value, rather I would use it with bracket notation. So I can say numbers, and then bracket notation, then I would utilize that variable. So I can access this value by index. I'll make this out. Now let's say that if we had a duplicate value, so if I add 3 at the end, index of always searches from left to right. So if I wanted to find out what is the last index of it, then I can use the last index of. So const last index of 3, assigned to numbers dot last index of that same value. So we're expecting last index of 3 to be 5, because we count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is
Hmm. Let's also add another 3 here.
the index position. So let's just output that console.log last index of.
So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh yeah, of course this is this is in the 7th index. So yeah, makes sense.
3, and we get the value of 5 as the index where it is stored at. Now let's try a case when we search for a value that doesn't exist. We can say const index of 10 and assign that to numbers.last index of 10.
Is that a route or
Access that by bracket notation, then we get the value undefined. So let's output both of those, console.log. So this will output -1, and then when we try accessing it, we will get numbers, index of 10, and this value undefined. Let's see that. And we get that output. Now whenever we use .index of,
I don't think we have done in our list too, so
it's
let's
not
give
-1
it
before
that.
using it to access that element. So I can compile that out, and then I can do index of or last index of, we get numbers, index of 10, and this value undefined. Let's see that. And we get that output. Now whenever we use index of,
But returns,
we
I
typically
mean,
make a conditional statement
gives
and check to make sure that
-1.
the value is not -1 before we
Returns
access that
-1.
element. So I can compile that out, and then I can do, for example, if index of 10 is equal to -1, indicating that the value 10 is not found in the array, then I can console log 10 is not found in the array. Okay, I'll put that. So we can utilize .index of and .last index of with our conditional statements. Now, if we're not utilizing that index value in order to access or change the element, then we can just use the includes method, which will return a Boolean value of true or false, depending on if that value is found in the array. So I can say if numbers.includes 10, then I can say console.log 10 is found in the array. And so since 10 is not found in the array,
Same thing. If I use in here, it would actually take in the. I believe it would take the index as because everything's an object in JS, right? But in a weird way. But yeah, let's So that's why I believe we use the include for this one. Includes method. Includes.
this will not be console log. Let's see if I log it out. And there's no output. Now, I could use the exclamation point in the beginning. So with the exclamation point, this reads, if the numbers array does not include the value 10, then output what is in the code block. So I can say 10 is not found in the array. And when I run the console, I see that output. How would you check if an array contains a primitive value? There are 3 main methods you can use. You can use .index of, .last index of, or .includes. Consider the following array. Employees, we'll send it to an array of objects. We'll say the ID, name, Jim. So then I'll add 2 more objects to this array. I'll copy this, and then I'll do Shift, Option, and down arrow 2 more times. Then I'll update the IDs, 2 and 3.
Gotcha. So we can't use the a dictionary for the includes method. actually what happens? Is it a route or something? What if it actually has this? It doesn't work.
and update the names. I'll say Michael and Pam. So with this array of objects, using the includes method or index of won't help us find an element, as comparing two different objects, even if they have the same properties, won't be equal, as those objects have different memory addresses. So instead, you would use the find method. To find
I paused the video because he provides explanation as to why it doesn't work, so I want to hear it out. Like after I type all of this out.
the names. I'll say Michael and Pam. So with this array of objects,
Oh, I see. That's office reference, isn't it? Hey, we also need Dwight.
using the includes method or index of won't help us find an element, as comparing two different objects, even if they have the same properties, won't be equal, as those objects have different memory addresses. So
Gotcha. So basically, I guess internally in the includes method, index of method, they compare memory addresses as such.
instead, you would use the index of won't help us find an element, as comparing two different objects, even if they have the same properties, won't be equal, as those objects have different memory addresses. So instead, you would use
Yeah.
the find method. To find that here, say const employee equal to employees.find. Now, as the argument, we would pass a function. In this context, the function will be referred to as a callback function. We call it a callback function because we pass the function as an argument and it will be invoked at a later time. Now, this particular type of callback function for the find method is referred to as a predicate function, meaning that it will return true or false. Previously, I mentioned that functions are objects, so this is what enables us to pass
Oh, all right. I didn't know that functions which returned a boolean value had a name, but I guess now I do.
functions around as arguments in JavaScript. So we can specify function. We would define an anonymous function, so we won't give it a name. Now it will accept an argument. We'll specify e as the parameter variable. Then we
You
can
do an arrow
and
function here,
so
right?
the predicate function has to return a true or false value. So we can do return, then the parameter variable e dot name equal to, and we'll say Jim. So if this value is not found, then it will return undefined. Otherwise, it will return that element. So I can console log it, console.log employee, opening up the panel. Here you can see it outputs that object. So the find method will return the first element that matches. We also have the find index method, which acts the same way, except instead of returning the object, it will return the index where the object is found at. What array methods would you use to find and locate an object? You can use the find method or find index method. For both of them, you would specify a predicate function to locate an object based on a property. So previously we used an anonymous function in order to define our callback function. However, there is another more modern syntax that is more commonly used and is easier to read. This syntax is known as an arrow function. So traditional functions will look like write a function, add, and
I guess we're gonna use that
curly
now.
braces, and now just return number.
Yeah, there we go. We found Dwight.
Now another syntax to accomplish the same thing is the arrow function. So I can name it const. I'll comment this out. Then I'll name it add an equal sign for an assignment, and then I specify the parameter variables. So I'll say num1 and num2, and then I will use an equal sign and then the greater than sign. So this denotates an arrow. Now I would specify that same functionality in the curly braces, num1 plus num2. So remember, functions are objects in JavaScript. So this is being assigned to the add variable. Arrow function syntax is commonly used for callback functions. When you have an arrow function that has just one statement in the code block, then you can simplify it. You can remove the curly braces and put everything on one line. You can also remove the return statement because the arrow function knows implicitly that you are returning this expression. This provides a cleaner syntax to use when using predicates. So rather than using this implementation with the function declaration, we'll comment that out. And here, I can remove that function keyword, so it's no longer an anonymous function. Then I use this symbol for arrow function, and I can clean it up and put everything on one line. So I can remove this return statement and remove the curly braces. So this is a cleaner way to accomplish the same thing.
I know arrow functions are in a way JavaScript's way of lambda functions, right? But I guess I'll be using arrow functions quite a lot rather than using lambda functions in Python because in oh yeah, I was just trying to say that I think I've spoken about this quite a lot of times in these streams that Python has the list comprehension part and dictionary comprehensions, then you know yeah, one liners which makes stuff really easy and but I don't know, I guess JS also has them in some kind of way, but it just isn't the same easy to use in a way thing, right? I guess once we get to actual coding, we'll one day check it out and see the difference.
How would you define a function for the .find method?
How would I what? Oh yeah, return it should
Well,
return true or
type of the array
false.
class and is used in order to find an object. For the argument, you would specify a function. In this case, it would be a predicate function, meaning that it would result in true or false. You could use either an anonymous function or an arrow function in order to implement this. What is an arrow function?
Anonymous function?
An arrow function is an alternative syntax to the function declaration syntax. You would assign it to a variable and define it with parentheses, and then use the symbol for equal sign and greater than symbol, and then specify the code block. If the code block only consists of one line, then you can put everything on one line, and you can remove the return keyword. So once again, let's create an array. On a const numbers is assigned to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for adding elements to an array, we can use the push method to add to the end. We have unshift to add to the beginning, and we have splice to add to the middle. Now for removing elements, we have pop to remove from the end, we have splice to remove from the middle, and we have shift to remove from the beginning. So let me show an example of each of these. So if I do const last element assigned to numbers.pop, this will remove the last element. So in this case, the value 5 stored in this variable. So let's output that. Say console.log. Now I'll use backticks and we'll use our template literals. I'll say last element, colon, and then dollar sign, curly brace, last element, and let's output that. We're expecting the value 5. So here we see last element and then the value that was removed. If I want to remove the first element, I can say numbers.shift. So this will remove the value 1. So let's output that. Console.log, if I say first element, and then dollar sign, first element, and with a semicolon, we can output that, go up, run again. So here we see the first element of the array.
Oh wait, what is shift? Oh, I see. Unshift enters a element whereas shift returns the first. Oh, it deletes the thing and it returns it. Kind of like how pop and push work.
Say first element, and then dollar sign, first element, and with a semicolon, we can output that, go up, run again. So here we see the first element of the array was removed. We can also add a space between these values if I add backslash n. So when JavaScript encounters backslash n, it knows that this means to create a new line. So if I run again, we can expect this time there will be a space between these outputs. So let's do our last method, which is the splice method. So for the splice method, it could be used to add to the middle of an array or to remove from the middle of an array. So here we do, say const, I'll name it middle element equal to numbers.splice. So for splice, the first argument is the index to start at. The second argument is the number of elements to delete, starting from the index specified in the first argument. Any argument that you pass after that is optional, and we'll specify the new values to add. If I say from index 1 and I want to remove one element, this will return the value and store it in middle element.
Already covered.
Console.log, middle element, and output it.
We already covered
Here I
splice.
see the middle element has been outputted, the value of 3. Middle element, and output it. Here I see the middle element has been outputted, the value of 3.
Did what?
Element, this will return the value and store it in middle element. So the argument that you pass after that is optional, and we'll specify the new values to add. If I
Oh
say
yeah,
1 and I want to remove one
0,
element,
1,
value and store it in middle element. So I do
and yeah.
console.
Ooh, splice also returns the value, huh? Which is being deleted. So what would this have actually returned? It returns a less. Whereas if it's just a single length, I guess it would just return a number, like one single element.
From the beginning of an array.
Use
Use the
shift.
shift method to remove an element from the beginning. How would you remove an element from the middle of an array?
Use splice the condition that you know the indexes and whatnot.
You would use the splice
Or
method.
the indices.
How would you remove an element from the end of an array?
Use pop.
You
Yeah.
would use the pop method. So we covered how to add elements to the numbers array, as well as how to remove elements. Now, if you wanted to clear all the elements of an array, there are different ways that we can do that. One way is we can use a while loop. We can say while numbers.length is greater than 0, then we can call numbers.pop. So repeatedly move from the end. So although this works, if the numbers array was large, this would be an inefficient way to do so. We can comment it out and we'll look at a different way. So we covered the numbers.length property. We can also use this property in order to assign a value. So if we assign it to 0, this will clear the numbers array. So I can output that. I'll say console.log and I'll output this array.
Ah, really?
And there I see that the array is empty. Let's comment this out. Now we've used the splice method, which can be used for adding and removing elements. So we can say numbers.splice starting from
And
the first element at index 0, and then for the second argument, it specifies the number of elements to delete. So I can say numbers.length, and this will remove every element. Also, the splice method will return all the elements that were deleted in an array. So I'll just say const, I'll just say deleted numbers. Let's log that. Console.log, a template variable, deleted numbers, colon, deleted numbers. When we output that, we can see all the values that have been deleted. Let's comment this out. Now, another way we can do that is simply defining numbers to a new array. So remember, an array is an object. So when we assign it to a new array, the previous array will be garbage collected. Since I use the
that's a
not reassign it. So I would
clever way of doing it.
To reassign this variable. Another thing to be aware of, if I were to have another variable, let's say if I name it let another array, assign it to numbers, then both of these values will be referencing the same array in memory. So in this case, even though I reassigned numbers to an empty array, another array will still be referencing this previous array. So it will not be garbage collected. How would you empty the contents of
But what was that last part?
So I would need to change this to let in order for me to reassign this variable. Another thing to be aware of, if I were to have another variable, let's say if I name it let another array, assign it to numbers, then both of these values will be referencing the same array in memory. So in this case, even though I reassigned numbers to an empty array, another array will still be referencing this previous array. So it would not be garbage collected.
That's right.
How would you empty the contents of an array?
You sure there's a bunch of methods. Use any one of them.
Assign it to a new array. You could also set the length property to 0 or use the splice method. So let's say we have two arrays and we want to combine them into one array. So I can initialize const.
Can't you just add? I mean, is adding arrays possible?
A assigned to 1, 2, and 3.
Literally adding two arrays.
B assign 2, 4, 5, and 6. So now I can combine them using the concat method. So I can say const combined array.
I guess less wouldn't work. No. Okay, yeah. Script doesn't like it. Exit. Okay, maybe exit like this. Okay, Control C. Yep. I guess Control C works.
Is equal to example numbers A dot concat example numbers B. So this will return a new array, so console.log combined array, and displaying in the panel. Here I see it has created a new array. Now we can also slice the array, meaning that we can specify a start index and an end index. And it will return a new array with the elements found within that range. The slice method will not affect the original array. So I can say const first slice assign to combined array dot slice from 0 to 4. So opening up the panel, here since I specified the range between 0 and 4, it will return a new array containing the values of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the second argument is exclusive. Here if I log that out,
Mm.
the original array.
Alright.
So I can say const first slice assign to an index. And it will return a new array with the elements found within that range. The slice method will not affect the original array. So I can say const first slice assign to combined array dot slice from 0 to 4. So opening up the panel, here since I specified the range between 0 and 4, it will return a new array containing the values of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the second argument is exclusive. Here if I log that out, console.log first slice containing the values of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the second argument is exclusive. Here if I log that out, console.log first slice. So these are the two methods to combine and slice arrays. So if your performance for primitive values, then the elements will be passed by copy. However, if you're dealing with objects, then the elements will be passed by reference. How would you combine two arrays?
Use what? The concat method?
To create a new array. How would you get a slice of an array?
Oh, okay, that's what I just got confused there for a bit. That's why he showed slice. So we could do to get a slice of the numbers arrays, how I would like to think of it. Oh no, slice at 0 to 6. 6 wouldn't be included, so obviously this is in the numbers array. The numbers array start from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6, but not included. So we'll get I believe 1. Yeah.
You would use the slice method. You can pass two arguments, the start index and the end index. There is another way to combine two arrays, which is to utilize the spread operator. We have discussed the spread operator before, so it can be used.
We use what is it, 2 dots or was it 3 dots? But yeah, I know what it means. If the array part, I guess would, yeah, that's about half an hour more for that. Anyway, we reached the 1 hour mark, and I'll be ending the stream here. We'll be continuing in the next one. Till then, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.